Listen, I was just saying to the Moose, 10 minutes isn't going to be enough time to get into this with Darren Dreger, so let's jump into it. I appreciate the time, Dregs. It's been a while. TSN NHL insider Darren Dreger is with us. And Dregs, if I may jump right into it and say these are tough days to be a Russian player in the National Hockey League. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that, Rod, for a multitude of reasons. I mean, obviously, you're trying to keep your focus on what your job is, and that's to be a professional hockey player. Meanwhile, you've got friends, you've got family, you've got everything that's going on back in your homeland in the war against Ukraine, and it's weighing on them considerably. And not only that, but the media, especially social media, is continually going after these Russian-based players. I don't know if you saw the interview or not. I thought Dan Milstein, who represents a good number of Russian players, did an excellent job on That's Hockey, just talking about some of the struggles, the real threats that some of these players are dealing with throughout their NHL lives. So it's been a challenge. And look, based on some of the information that's now starting to come out of the federal governments and what may or may not happen, with closing borders and things like this, for the Russian player, it might get more complicated, both here in the NHL or for Russian players who are free agents or perhaps drafted in the future.
Absolutely. It's just that people don't understand. Look what Artemi Panarin went through just last year. It had nothing to do with this. What Burry went through in the 90s. They don't understand, but I mean, that's social media for you, Dregs, as you know. So I just was surfing your timeline, and your Twitter timeline was a lot of this stuff, so I wanted to bring it up first. But to the insider trading stuff, I want to zero in on the Winnipeg Jets because we still can't quite figure out what's going on there. They're on the cusp. I've been saying they should blow it up. For a month, I've been saying they should blow it up. Where are you on the Winnipeg Jets, and what do you think they'll do ahead of the deadline?
I'd be really surprised if they blew it up, to use your words, Rod. I think that there's reason to at least expect that Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Winnipeg Jets are going to do something. Maybe they take a look at some of their contract players. Andrew Kopp's name is out there to some degree. What are they going to do with Paul Stastny? But beyond that, and maybe some depth moves, I think more of the work is going to get done in the offseason. Hey, the Winnipeg Jets believe that they're still very much in the mix, and to a degree they are. They believe that they're a much better team when they get Nikolai Ehlers and Cole Perfetti back healthy and back into the lineup. So they're not quite ready to throw in the towel yet. But if the Winnipeg Jets miss the playoffs and Cheveldayoff doesn't do much of anything by choice on March 21st or before, then maybe they don't have much of an option other than to really take a hard look at their roster and maybe be open-minded about some bigger magnitude type of trades. But I don't see that happening between now and the deadline, but it is plausible, I would think, in the offseason.
Sure, but for them, I think it's a critical time because just how good are they? You don't want to be too late in making those moves. And, you know, one guy that seems to really have drawn people's ire lately is Mark Scheifele. And the comments by Tim Peel were directed at me today. What he said, he has zero respect for Mark Scheifele. What is it with this kid? Do you have any kind of personal relationship with him? Why is he such a lightning rod, Mark Scheifele in Winnipeg and the entire NHL?
He seems to be, and I don't quite get it. I do know Mark Scheifele, and the Mark Scheifele that I know is a very driven individual. I think that we can see that. I mean, he's frustrated, no doubt about that. He wants to win. He wants to do everything he can to help the Winnipeg Jets win. But he does seem to be galvanizing in that when there is negative attention, it's directed at him. It's directed at Blake Wheeler. In essence, it's directed to the leadership core of the Winnipeg Jets. And look, that comes with the territory, right? When you play in the National Hockey League, when you earn the contracts that those players have, the good always comes with the bad. Unfortunately for those guys in Winnipeg, it seems, at least in the last couple of seasons, they've had to deal with more negative than positive. I thought that Tim Peel's comment was ridiculous, to be fair. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, and now that he's not employed by the National Hockey League and he's not working as an NHL official on the grandest stage in hockey, I guess it's open season. You know, social media, people in general take their pot shots. I don't ever recall Mark Scheifele or a star player in the National Hockey League attacking Tim Peel in the fashion that he's attacked Mark Scheifele and saying that he had no respect for NHL officials. If you spent 5 minutes around Mark Scheifele, the guy doesn't even swear. How much disrespect can you show an NHL official without dropping F-bombs? So, I don't know. I think Tim Peel got up on the wrong side of the bed today.
If, for what it's worth, I'm with you. I said the exact same thing 30 minutes ago. Where does Tim Peel get off saying this? By the way, we are running out of time. This is going by fast. The Jets fans are saying that they won't blow it up, and I'm like, okay, but they can't win for losing aside from beating Montreal, which really everybody beats Montreal. But Dregs, tonight here in Calgary, Flames Habs. They've been talking about this game here for a month. It's just something about the Montreal Canadiens, similar when the Leafs come to down too, but should be a fun game tonight in the Saddledome.
Yeah, no question about that, Rod. Look, when the Montreal Canadiens are good, the National Hockey League is better. But I would say that about any Canadian team. You don't have to be a Habs fan to appreciate and enjoy their march to the Stanley Cup final last year. And then those who don't have time for the Montreal Canadiens, of course, have really enjoyed the struggles of this organization this year. But for me, hockey is better when the Montreal Canadiens are competitive. And what a storyline with Marty St. Louis going in there. Vinny Lecavalier is involved in their front office as well. And Marty St. Louis just pushed that dark cloud that was hanging over the organization away. He has nothing to prove. He's a Hall of Fame hockey player. Obviously knows his stuff, knows players. He doesn't have to go in there and push buttons. All he had to do is go in there and relieve some pressure. Allow the young players to use their instincts to be the players at the NHL level that they have been to this point in their career. Then obviously we're at lower levels to get them to the point of being a National Hockey League player. So I expect a good game. I mean, the Montreal Canadiens are now playing with at least some emotion, and that's a tough test because if anyone has spent 5 minutes watching the Calgary Flames, you can see why the Calgary Flames should be considered one of Canada's top contenders going into the playoffs.
I was notified that the press box was full. There was no availability. I just bought a ticket before the show. That's how bad I want to be in the building tonight for the Flames and the Habs. And by the way, you got 60 seconds, Dregs. What can you tell us about Kyle Davidson, the new general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks?
Yeah, you know what? He's cut his teeth, right? Not the most experienced as an NHL general manager, clearly. He's been through tough times. I mean, look at everything that he's inherited. And there's some good, but, excuse me, there's mostly bad. I liked his media availability yesterday. Didn't pull any punches. Just flat out said, we're going into a rebuild. So that makes my life a little bit more interesting because now we have to pay closer attention to the future of Kane, Taves, and the most obvious in Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic with the trade deadline coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Dregs, always great. Thanks for the time, my man. Keep up the great work.
Thanks for having me, Rod.
The pride of Langenburg, Saskatchewan, Darren Dreger. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.